Coming up today, we've got King of the Ring rewards again, another WrestleMania 34 card to be collected. And last man standing. Controversial? People, welcome to another edition of that finger tapping frenzy that we get wound up by now and again, known as WWE SuperCard. With me, Big Jim, here at BadLadDad HQ. Last man standing. This is day 2 of round 2 of Last Man Standing. We had the Triple H, which people were a bit wary of when it came out, and then we were all absolutely blown away by the rewards. Now we've got the Braun Strowman event. A bit different, isn't it? Reaction's a bit different. I've already expressed my opinion on Twitter. Main beef being that if they hadn't given us such fantastic rewards with Triple H and made it so accessible to so many people, there wouldn't now be all the problems with everyone griping, because they've reined it all in. They've said, oh, there you go, have some fun with this, and everyone had some great fun with it. And then they're like, oh, well, no, actually, this is our toy. Only a few people can play with it. And they've dragged it back in, going from 30,000 cards to 10,000 cards, and various other things. But there's no point in me just sort of relisting all the problems. I will just give you my opinion as I'm playing. And I am playing. I am having a go at this one. And I have spent some credit, so hands up on that. I'm doing it for a purpose. I'm doing it for a reason, which I shall come on to. But let's have some fun to start off with. WrestleMania 34, King of the Ring, another win. Big Jim's got the back-to-back wins coming in. So let's have a look and see what I can collect. Now, I had that Ember Moon card from the last one, so I would dearly love to get one of my females pro'd. As you can see, I have Ember, who, even though she's only played a few matches, well, actually I haven't done too badly there, considering we're, I've done okay there. She's played a few matches already. And then Ruby, who's already fully maxed out, and Mandy too. Those are my 3 single females at WrestleMania level, so if I could... if I get one of those, if I could get my hands on one of those females, but we shall have to see. Otherwise, if I could just get some sort of pro, that would be good. But let's go into King of the Ring. Some people are asking me about, what your tactics, what do you do? Nothing untoward, nothing too special over and above what the rest of you do. Albeit one of my sort of golden rules with King of the Ring is start it around 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, because you're more likely to be able to charge up for a few matches and keep your eye on your opponent, because everyone's there obviously from the first game, and the amount of people who don't charge up for the second game is quite amazing. It's criminal, in fact. So make sure you charge up for your second game, and then just keep an eye on things, because you may not even need to charge up for the whole of the knockout round stages, because you then get into the second knockout round stage, and more often than not you find your opponent there hasn't powered up either. But because you powered up for the second match and they haven't powered up since the first match, it's a breeze. But of course, if they have powered up, you're there to react accordingly. So it's a case of just monitoring what's going on in those first few rounds. And then from there on in, it's a case of how long you can stay awake, what time you get up in the morning, and just keep as much of a close eye on it as you can. Anyway, here we go, Big Jim, stop waffling. Well, it's not really waffling. I mean, you did ask the questions, and I am trying to give you the answers. So here we go. Right, that's actually a pro, but it's not worth doing at this stage. Now, my top 8 cards now for Last Man Standing, and obviously in the... just my top 8 cards are all WrestleMania 34 pros. The only one I'm missing, of course, is that Jeff Hardy event, which I keep going on about. It's my own fault. I keep going on about it. All right, here we go. Boom, boom! This is a family show, and I always have to make sure, now and again, that I just bite my lip before I make my next comment, because sometimes the odd Big Jim swear word comes out. If you met me in public, I'm a bit looser with expletives, as some other supercarders who've you've seen me with in the past will testify. That is not only a pro, it's by far and away going to be my best pro and one of my all-time heroes. That's just... I could almost cry with happiness. That's just fantastic. I can't even wait to tell Ninja Boy now. I've got to pick him up in half an hour from school. That's why he's not in today's video. I know you guys like to say, well, where's Ninja Boy? Why is he not in the video? That's possibly one of the best King of the Ring rewards I've ever had. Just amazing. Amazing. I don't think you're going to see a happier Big Jim from a reward, and unless it had been perhaps a female pro, but even then I don't care. It's Taker, it's a pro. Oh, sorry, I should have said hello to the guy who played in the final. Sorry. So this is my excitement. Whew. That is very good news. Let's go into combinable just to confirm. There's my existing Taker. He's just waiting. He's there. He's all done. He's just waiting for the second Taker to arrive. That is... Oh, come on! As you can probably tell, I'm very happy with that. Right, last man standing. Let's have a look at last man standing. We can sit and gripe and complain and do all the usual histrionics that you wish. It's not going to change the fact that it's now different. They have changed it. It's a 10,000 limit, so if you're not in that top 10,000, you're not going to get a card. And as I tweeted the other day, you could have finished in around 6,000th place in the Trips Last Man Standing event to get a decent card. To get an equivalent card now, you've got to finish in the top 200 of this Braun event. Now, I was going through just sort of comparing a few cards, and I have been chiseling away, and I'll show you where I'm at the moment. But there's a rank which is, I've just written it down over there, but the trouble is I've left it about 50 miles away from the camera. Rank 2256 to 2575. That'll get you a card that's roughly akin to Kevin Owens' normal WrestleMania 34 card. So that's 2256 to 2575. So if you're in around that sort of bracket, you're going to get yourself what would effectively be a half decent WrestleMania 34 card. Not equivalent of an event card, but a half decent WrestleMania 34 card. If you're lower than that, you've got to start asking the question of whether you really want to bother going any further, because you're effectively going to be fighting for a weak WrestleMania 34 card, or even, we're obviously talking pros here, because it is going to power up into sort of pro level, but even could be like Titan, if not Monster, if not Beast, if not lower. So you've really got to question what your target is and what you're going for. Now, the next rank up from that, which is 1966, easy to remember, the year that England won the World Cup, for possibly the only time ever in the history of the world. Now, 1966 to 2255, that gets you a card that's stats are better than the Jeff Hardy event card that we've all just fought for. The Jeff Hardy event card, without the heroic enhancement, was around 18,200 per stat. I mean, obviously there's 4 different stats. Some are 18.1, some are a bit 18.2 and a bit whatever. It's around 18.2. That level I've just read out, 1966 to 2255, that will give you a Braun Strowman card, I believe, where the stats were in the 19s, 19,000 and something. So that's really what you need to be aiming for to get yourself a not bad event card. And obviously anything higher than that, then you're in gravy. The world is your lobster. It's happy days. So that's really what you need to be aiming for. So 1966, or something in the 2000s. If you want to get really, really competitive, it's got to be something in the thousands. And if you want to be ultra competitive, like I mentioned, it's got to be in the top 200. But there's not going to be too many Braun Strowman cards out there after this event that are going to match all those Triple H cards that are floating around. I do feel sorry for people in lower tiers who, when they got that Triple H card last time round, it gave them a massive boost to their decks, and it really helped get them up a rank or two. And I know there's other people saying, oh yeah, but we have to like do 4 events to get a heroic version of this card, and why should people get that? Well, the point is, people did get it because that's what Cat Daddy gave them. It was there. If Cat Daddy hadn't given it to them in the first place, there wouldn't be all this griping around now, would there? What Cat Daddy should have done is got somebody to beta test this and actually look and work out what all these stats were going to do and what all these new cards would do, rather than just throwing at everybody, then seeing everyone being so happy and wonderful, yeah, this is lovely, and then just pulling the rug from under our feet. So, anyway, look, I felt obliged to do this, or have a good crack at this Braun Strowman card, or a decent crack at this Braun Strowman card. for two reasons. Firstly, I missed out on Jeff Hardy. My own fault, I know. I got Taker. Do you see I got Taker? King of the Ring. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Jeff Hardy, I missed out on getting the Pro. So I'm kind of event card behind a lot of the players in my tier now. Over and above that, though, I feel as someone who's known as a WWE SuperCard YouTuber, that is basically the bread and butter of this channel. There's other things that we do, but this is what a lot of you come to watch. I didn't think it was fair or even right of me to just sit here and pontificate about Last Man Standing and be critical of it and bemoan all the changes if I didn't actually have a hands-on approach to it and have a go at it and just see what it takes to get a decent card. So I'm monitoring how many credits I'm spending, and I'm going to do a video at the end of this event and just let you guys know how much it costs me to get whatever I end up with. And then see how far it gets me, because here we are at sort of mid-afternoon Friday, so there's still 2.5 days to go. And I'm doing okay. Let's just call it up. I'm doing okay. As you can see, like I'm in the 1500s. And that card in the 24s, well, I mentioned if you've got a card in the 19s, it's going to be better than a Jeff Hardy event card without the heroic embellishment. So that's not a bad card at all. But of course, if I stop now and didn't play anymore until the event closed on Sunday evening UK time, in fact early morning Sunday for Monday UK time, I'm sure as eggs wouldn't be 1500s. I'd be kicked quite a bit down because of course people are playing all the time. One thing I have noticed when I got to around the well, let's talk through it. Basically, to get into the 30,000s in the first few rounds isn't going to happen. I first used some tactical credits around Arena 11 and immediately went up from being just outside the 30,000s up to around 16,000. Now this was on the first day of play, this was Thursday, so I've got to qualify it and say that. So you can't just jump in now and that would happen because there's a lot more people played it since then. But what I've been doing is some tactical use of credits, but, and I can't stress this enough, the big thing you must do when you're playing Last Man Standing is not play Last Man Standing. You've got to do War Mode, Wild Mode, whatever it takes to get yourself some pulls. Because you need to pull the reveals and you need to pull those things that will stop the blocks. Stop the blocks, you gotta stop the blocks. Because those things are so useful, and of course they cost credits if you haven't got any, but if you've pulled some off the board already and you can use them, that is going to save you a lot of well, it's going to save you money out your pocket for starters. It's going to save you a lot of hassle as well. So let's just have a go. I've got to the stage where I'm now facing 6 obstacles, and I do have a tactic when I'm playing this. So where are we? Okay, we're in the 30s. As you can see, I've got a reveal and I've got 2 blocks which have been pulled from the board. So I don't have to spend any credits on those at all. So I could play through this board free. You can do this. You can do this and make progress for free. Believe me, you don't have to spend credits on multipliers to get through. You can use your reveals and blocks from your pulls. But you've got to get into wild mode. There's no sort of secret or glitch, or at least not a glitch that anyone's told me about. You've just got to play the game. You've just got to play the game. You've got to pull those reveals and pull those blocks, and you can get through. So as you can see, I'm stoked up with 1600 credits. I'm not going to touch them here either. But what I have got is 6 obstacles for the first time. Now going through these blocks, the reveals will reveal you 3 of the objects that can be thrown at you, which is great when you're on a board that's got 3 or 4 objects, because obviously you can use your reveals and you can use your block and you can just quite happily play through and get your consecutive run going with your multipliers, and you're not going to be affected because you've got things there that can bash them off. I'm just being reminded by Ninja Boy's mum. In fact, time is getting on, and I've got to get on. I've got to go and pick him up from school. So I'm going to make this very quick. As you can see, with my reveal and with my block, I'm going to do them. Just reveal those, and I'm going to do a block as well. So I can now quite happily, I'm not going to do a multiply, I can now quite happily play on. Now what I tend to do, when you're in 3s and 4s, you've got enough to block off anything that can be thrown at you. So you don't need to worry about any kind of tactics. You can just play on, let the multiplier take care of itself, and get your points, bank them, and move on. When you get to 5, what I tend to do is I will play on until you get that first block, and I will then look at how many more cards are left to reveal, or how many more games there are to play, however you want to call it, because obviously every single card on here represents one more game you've got to play. And then I'll work out what the midpoint is. So say I've played 10 matches, I'm on a 10-game streak, and there's 12 cards left on the board, and I hit an object. Well, I'm in danger of hitting another object. So I'll say, okay, well, the midpoint on that is around 11. So I will play one more match, risking hitting the object. And if I don't hit the object, great. And I will bank the credit and the streak that I've got that far, and then just start from scratch again, and then see what happens until I hit the next object. Or alternatively, if I do hit the object, I then know that anything I play after that is a free run, because there's no more objects left to hit. That probably wasn't a good example. You're better off when you've got, like, it's better obviously if you hit the objects early. You play 3 or 4 matches and you hit the object, and you know then, well, I'll just bank what I've got, and then start afresh. But that's basically what I've been doing. I probably haven't explained that as clearly as I'd like to, because I'm suddenly aware of the fact I've got to run out and pick up my little sidekick, that little finger-tapping frenzy devotee, Ninja Boy, who is obviously absent from this video. So what I may do is, and what's probably make more sense, is the early rounds. I think you guys can see the sense in getting the blocks and the reveals pulled from wild mode, etc. And thankfully we've got war mode, so that's useful too. What you've got to do is develop your tactics for the later rounds, when it gets a bit trickier, because obviously right now I can just carry on playing. Like I've just put in there a non-compatible pairing, knowing that they're still going to win the match, because I don't have to worry about it right now. That's not going to be the case for much longer. I'm soon going to hit, not a wall, but I'm soon going to hit an area where you've got to think more carefully about what pairings you're putting down and what cards you're using. So I think what would be best is if I come back on sort of Saturday evening, Sunday, that sort of time, and just talk through what it's like in the later rounds and what you can be doing. But there you go. So bottom line from that is, I got Taker for King of the Ring. Secondly, with Last Man Standing, you can make progress without using credits. It can be done, but it does mean you've got to be chiseling a lot in the War and Wild modes just to get yourself those free blocks and reveals. But that's the way to do it if you don't want to spend any money, obviously. I have used some doublers now and again just to help boost my point scores, but I am going to top that up and see how much I've spent at the end of this to see whether it's worthwhile or not. Obviously there's different routes you can take. I just feel I've got to try and explore both avenues so I can tell you guys what the experience is like. So there we have it, people. If you like the video, you know what to do. Bung me a few likes down below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Where have you been? Where have you been? Come on, watch some more. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. The social media with Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Until I see you next time, you stay cool.